never taken this street down this way.
Oh, really?
Maybe once. Not to get to the strip though. I was actually looking at property down here, and I end up going down this way. But I've never done this on purpose. It's bland. It seems like it's underdeveloped, huh?
Yeah.
There's some real estate to be purchased. Lots to be purchased, rather. I don't think I've ever seen a place with so many electrical grids. I think that's primarily because of the high concentration of folks down here. Would you agree?
Correct.
Yes.
Could you guys confirm audio is good, please?
Confirm audio's good. We'll get to this work.
It's good.
Fantastic. I wanted to touch base with you all because I'm often talking to you about wealth, health, and relationships. It's a beautiful thing when the three of those culminate. It's rare, but you're in good company when the three of those things culminate. I try to stay consistent with all things that I do. I absolutely hate missing a meeting. Today I missed a meeting and, you know, dampen my moods because I never do that. But what I can tell you about the last 24 hours, I really want you to focus and take this seriously, especially if you believe you're a person who wants to be successful or you're a person who's self-improvement focused. Last night, I took out the time to go live. I went live on the Saint channel. If you're not subscribed to that one, make sure you subscribe. I wanted to talk about the Silicon Valley Bank debacle as soon as possible because I knew there'd be a major money play, major opportunity for you guys. And so I said, I'm gonna talk about this last night because markets open today. We're talking about the stock market, major paper asset opportunities, buy low, sell high. There are certain assets that when you can buy them low, you are getting a deal, because one thing we ought to know is that the American government is not about to let the banks fail. No, they're not.
We have MH said, peace to the saints, about to get my second workout in.
That's a beautiful thing. I might have to take a round two myself. So I went live last night and I couldn't even sleep, to be honest with you, because I was so juiced to wake up and go stock shopping because I knew it was going to be some beautiful deals on the market. And in that live session last night, I told you guys what to do. So I wake up in the morning and the government, as shiesty as it always is, there are certain assets I wanted to purchase, a couple banks, three in particular I wanted to buy. And the New York Stock Exchange had actually, the feds really, had stopped people from buying and selling the stock in three particular banks because there were high levels of volatility. But volatility is where you make money, right? So I waited, I purchased a couple other banks in the morning, and then I had to go meet the Saints for a workout. I like to keep my obligations, even though there were some serious money plays at hand. I show up to the workout, to the boxing gym, and I tell the guys, now we're there for the purpose of health, right? I tell the guys, I say, hey, none of us should be here. We should all be stock shopping right now. Pull out your phones real quick. I usually don't like to tell people what to do, but go ahead, cop a little bit of this bank, cop a little bit of that, and go ahead, buy a little bit of this. This is gonna do you well. You don't have to do anything serious, but get you a little something. So anyways.
JKB sent $50.
Baller alert.
Said life is good, peace to the saints.
Life is good, and he really living too. I like to see that. So I said, get a little bit of this. So we go ahead and make some purchases. I purchased some additional securities that I didn't already get that morning because the government was, intermittently freezing the ability to buy and sell stock in banks, essentially. And so I purchased some more banks, and I noticed that the ones I purchased before I showed up at the workout were already returning me 19%, 15%, 18%, 23%, which is a lot of percent in general, especially in the space of 1 hour. So we buy some stock, we do our workout, and then after that, on my way leaving the gym, I was like, oh, wow, I made a couple $100 just while I was working out from those buys that I initiated when I was at the boxing gym with the Saints. I want to point this out to you because I talked to you about focusing on three major areas in life: Health, wealth, relationships. What a beautiful moment when someone shows up to work out with you. That's health. You're working out together. That's relationships. I'm giving you good stock picks. That's wealth. So that's how you live life. That's what life is about. Not everyone can sit down with you and tell you, hey, get this stock, get this stock, get this stock now. And then you look up an hour later and you done made money. And they did that for a total of $0.
Okay, we have Brandon said, what is your thoughts on the American bank collapse and other countries like Mexico applying for BRICS? Peace to the saints.
Every country and every individual is always going to do what's in their best interest. They're not going to do what is, based on integrity or generally respected principles. They're going to do what's their individual interests, be them an individual actor or a nation state. That's why when people catch a case, they snitch. They don't stick to principles. They don't stick to they snitch. They don't want to go to jail. They want to be with their kids. So that's number one with regards to Mexico applying to the BRICS. Secondly, with regards to the collapse of American banks, I think only 3 of them have collapsed. I don't think that is really going to take the domino effect. If it does, it shows you how incompetent the government is, and it shows you how ridiculously underperforming our regulators are. I don't like regulation, but there's certain industries that must be regulated to make sure that the fundamentals of the economy are strong. Banking is one of them. But what I find disgusting is that if they do bail out the banks, which understand there's a difference. You bail out the depositors, those are either everyday people who had their money in the bank, or those are businesses who had their money in the bank. Above FDIC is above $250,000. So you're talking about wealthy people, and you're talking about successful companies when they have that kind of cash liquidity. So to bail out above FDIC, I think is not proper. And that's not how the laws are written. That's not what the regulation is about. That means they're doing favors for very wealthy people. That's all there is to it. I don't respect it. I don't think it's a good idea. The truth is that in a capitalist system, businesses thrive and they fail. That's what it is. Now, there's a bridge bank essentially being created by the government, the FDIC, to give access to funds of depositors. So Silicon Valley Bank is now basically has their funds held by government, regulators, FDIC, whatever you want to call it. They created a bridge bank which allows people to access their money, people and businesses. Now the question is the remnants of Silicon Valley Bank, who's going to want to buy that? And we should not allow foreigners, major foreign powers, to invest in that kind of a thing. Because if they get hold of our bank that funds all of our major innovations, not only on the consumer side, but also on the military side, that is not a wise play for the future of the country.
Okay, we have Major Mind and Soul said, peace to the saints. The jacket is on point, Saint.
Appreciate you, boss. Peace to the saints.
Open your emails on there.
Sure.
Major Mind and Soul also said he's rocking the Hefner right now.
So,
The
brother,
picture's on here.
shout out to D. May I acknowledge via Cash App? Justice writes, peace to the saints, tuition. Joseph comes in with tuition as well. And Adonis writes, good work, black excellence. Oh, indeed. Indeed. And I want you all to be serious about earning in whichever way you can earn. I mean, to me, honestly, it trips me out that, I went to a boxing, met up at a boxing ring with the Saints, and I was able to give them some advice that made them money like that. That's what you want in life. That's what you should seek. But if you didn't get a chance to show up and be with me in person at that boxing ring, you heard it last night. Last night I said to you, Silicon Valley Bank is crashing. Okay, cool. With that bank crashing, where are these individuals and businesses going to put their money? They're not going to put it under their mattress, and they're not dumb enough to put it into something as volatile as Bitcoin. Maybe some of the individuals will put some of their money into Bitcoin. And I did see Bitcoin shoot up 14%, which is significant. Historically, in the context of Bitcoin, it ain't really nothing. But because we've seen major volatility of that nature for unexplainable reasons on a daily basis with Bitcoin. Look at this guy. He's a tough guy, huh? He better not be that tough today. I'm not in the mood. Anyways, so what you have is the fact that these people need to be banked. They need another opportunity. They need another institution that can take their funds. The 16th largest bank in America disappeared. So where will that money go? It has to go somewhere, and wherever it's going to go, it's going to shore up their business. Certainly, it's going to be a situation whereby they're going to go to a bigger bank. There is a theory that the American government won't allow the top big banks to fail. Generally the top 4 banks, right? So usually we'd expect these guys to take their money and put into the really big banks, the banks you heard of. And if that's the case, then you'd be wise to go ahead and grab up some stock in these banks, because you know straight away you're going to get, 4 or 5% bump up. And banks are decent institutions to get stock in, because we know over time they're going to perform. They're going to perform over time, because the only way they wouldn't perform is if America doesn't perform, which the American government's not performing. But what we're talking about is the American private industry, which generally is foremost in the world. So banks are good buys when you're talking about large banks. What I was buying is I was buying higher risk propositions, which are banks that are significant in size and assets, but they're generally regional banks, a little bit smaller. These are the ones that were greatly impacted, because people are like, okay, SVB fell apart. Now the regional banks are going to fall apart. We expect to see, First Federal to fall apart. We expect to see, East and West Bank to fall apart. We expect to see fill in the blank to fall apart. And truth be told, they don't have the same customer base, and they didn't buy as many bonds, and they're better capitalized, and they have more liquidity. So yes, they're going to experience some of the fallout. They're going to experience people pulling out their deposits, which is going to cause them to decline in the short term. That means that I can go and gobble it up for a 60% discount. I kid you not. I bought a bank today. I bought some of a bank today, and it was 60% down. I bought another bank. It was 70% down. And what I saw is within the space of 3 hours, I gained 70%. This is what I mean. If you invested $100 when I did, now you got $170. If you invested $1,000, now you have $1,700 in the space of a couple hours. Man, come on, this stuff is serious. When I see stuff like that, and I was basically doing nothing and earning money, that's passive income. And that's something that I told people for free, and I'm like, whoa, how do people not jump on that? They don't really want it. No, they don't want it. I couldn't believe that. But what it should teach you is be mindful of the people you're around. You paying attention?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Be mindful of the people that you're around, because when you're around the right people, you soak up game for free. When you're around the right people, if they get money, some of it might, slip out and touch you. You dig? The wealth might, catch you. Yeah. Y'all trying to chase down money. You get in the right position, it'll chase you. I'm just like, you're wondering, like, why am I so lit right now? I'm lit because I'm like, how is it that people are always talking about earning money? I gave you a free, excellent, short shot stock tip, and people ain't use it. Shout out to Jose supporting the work. Appreciate you. I'm mad you didn't make money. I'm mad you didn't make money, but I got mine. And if the government wasn't so shiesty, I would have got a lot more, because they stopped me from making the buys that I really wanted to make. I wanted to be more aggressive, and the government stopped me from doing that. So I want you guys to, number one, remember, when I say health, wealth, relationships, those are the 3 critical areas of life. When you get good integration with those 3 things, life is easy, life is good, life is satisfying. I made the easiest money ever today. Now, I don't want to say it was the easiest money ever in as much as it didn't require knowledge. It did require knowledge. And it took a significant amount of time to get together that kind of knowledge, and also the understanding of money that allows me to utilize money to bring back more money. Sometimes people get money and they're scared to put money to use, think they're gonna lose it. If you let your money sleep, that's how you lose it. Money is like, it's like if you have a woman and you don't ever take her anywhere, it's like 3 years you've not taken her anywhere, no dates, no vacation, nothing for 3 years, you're gonna lose her. Money's like that. You gotta send it out, let it earn for you. It's a beautiful day in Vegas, going out to get some sunshine. It's starting to warm back up. You know, it's a nice smooth 70 degrees, which is the weather that I moved to Vegas to have on a regular basis. So very pleased and thankful for that. I'm excited about this Boss University that I'm going to be releasing, and that's because it's allowing me to give a complete guide to life. There's so many basics, like what I'm concerned about in terms of self-improvement, but let's talk about the perfection of life. How do you live a more perfect life where you can be happy every day, where you can be someone that people attract to? There's certain simple practices that if you keep them going on a daily basis, your life is going to be easier. Sure, you're going to have lows and highs, but your lows will never go too low, huh? And while we're talking about living a good life, let's talk about being attractive. So often people are always on the hunt. They hunting for women, they hunting for money, they're hunting for friends. Sometimes you got to do life correctly and chill and let things come to you. Let things hunt you down. Let a chick come holla at you. Let a guy try to get buddy with you. Huh? That's what you need to get to. And when you're making the right moves, that's what life becomes. You get to hang back and let everything come to you. And the reason I mention that is because another thing that I know guys don't do enough, I encourage you to do your 3-a-days, absolutely. But in addition to that, if you get out in the world and you're doing enough, you know, you're doing business, you're socializing, you're living, you're gonna be around enough women that some of them are gonna throw their shot at you. If you're a upright man, an honest man, a strong man, there's no way you're gonna be in the presence of a woman who's available or wants to be available, and she's not gonna make that known. And if she does make, sometimes the opportunity is clear and we don't take it. Other times the opportunity, you're like wonder, like, oh, should I? Yeah, you should. Yeah, shoot the shot. Matter of fact, throw the Hail Mary. Yeah, I'd rather know than not know. I'd rather know, like, oh, shorty didn't want nothing to do with me than to be at home wondering. Come on now. Yeah, last night when I was on that live session talking about the Silicon Valley Bank failure, I wasn't talking about it because everybody else talking about it. I'm talking about it because I knew how to make money. You heard me? They talking about the news. Silicon Valley Bank has failed. That's the news. I'm talking about the play, the strategy. I'm saying, okay, this happened in the world. This is what you do, and here's the bag. Come on, I don't care what the news is in general. I care what I can do with the news. That's how a man thinks. Goal orientation. They good?
Yeah.
Seems like they must be good. All right, I'll give you guys a little bit of time to send any comments, questions you might have. I'm winding down. May I acknowledge Justino? He writes tuition for the Bunny Killers.
Not sure. Vilkin said, Saint, question. What is the best broker to use when it comes to buying these stocks? Is Robinhood a good one, and what other stock app do you recommend?
I've never used Robinhood. I've heard of it for a long time, never personally used it. When you say the best, at the end of the day, you're just buying stock. So that's like saying, what is the best place to buy toilet paper? Well, they all sell toilet paper. All the stores sell toilet paper. So you probably are talking about customer service or ease of use, maybe of the technology. So number one, I actually use two. I use Cash App stocks when I'm talking to you guys because I know most of you guys have Cash App, so it makes it easy and accessible for you guys. It's very basic. I also do more complex things. I stay away from margin trading generally. Might take some short positions and things like that. So with that being the case, I have to have a proper brokerage, which I don't want to say their name because in my opinion, they're just all right. And I don't think they're necessarily any better than any other brokerage firm. So I would probably not recommend Robinhood because none of the serious guys I know use Robinhood. So if you're doing basic things just on the side of buying stock, which everyone should be doing, then I'll just use Cash App. It's simple. You got money in Cash App, use Cash App. If you want to do things that are a touch more complex and you feel like you might want to take a short position, you got a little more capital to play with, then I would DM me and then I'll tell you which firm I use. But I'm not going to just say what it is because I'm not trying to promote them because they're not particularly good.
Okay, JKB is back with another $50.
Ballerism.
It said, absolutely. You also interact with better quality women when you focus on yourself and allow yourself to entertain those that choose you.
And I'm not saying there's anything with wanting what you want. Yeah, go get what you want too, but also get on the scene like a sex machine. If you're not outside, how they gonna see a boss? You dig? You gotta give these ladies the option, an opportunity to meet you. You're really wasting your time on these dating apps because those are the leftover women. You're a real raggedy broad if you're on a dating app. Just tremendously raggedy. Because a woman who's appealing, generally speaking, she can walk down any street and guys are gonna make an introduction. They're gonna stare, they're gonna make an introduction. What does she need a dating app for unless she's trying to select the cream of the crop in terms of her sexual partners, or she's trying to get instant satisfaction for her need for attention or her need for physical gratification at that moment.
Alone, send an email to support@marquettism.com. We'll get that taken care of. We have Robert Jones sent a super chat. He said, been a minute player, love the content I'm seeing. Peace to the Saints.
Peace to the Saints. Good to hear from you. Absolutely. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I also want to talk to you guys a bit about ambition and dreaming. I don't mean dreaming like a sucker, just like dreaming like, oh, I wish I could. I mean dreaming big dreams. Like, what is it worth to want what everyone else can have? What is it worth to pursue like what average people can have? Look, sometimes you think your ambitious goals are ambitious and then you get around people who are talking some real big boss talk and they living like a boss hog. And then you realize like, whoa, there's a whole nother level to achieve. There's a whole nother world that I haven't even considered. I say that to say this. I remember when I was a young boy, my old heads would talk about getting a Cadillac or so-and-so got a Cadillac. That was a big deal to them. Well, yeah, a middle-class person, like during that era, Cadillac is a great car. Just like a middle-class person right now during this era, maybe a Lexus or a Tesla is a great car. And a Tesla is actually a fine automobile, mechanically speaking. Great, excellent car, really. But if you're talking about in terms of expense and flossing and enjoying and living luxury, then let's take another step up, right? Let's see what these Rolls Royce are talking about. Let's see what the Bugatti's talking about. Let's figure out what a McLaren is. And I say that because you're gonna work on a different level and you're gonna be attuned for different levels of opportunity. You have to understand that we all achieve our goals. The only tragedy is when you set a low goal and achieve it. You say, oh man, I wanted to get a Lexus or a Range Rover, and then you get it, not realizing that, wow, that was easy, that was too easy. If I'd have set my sights higher, I could have gotten something better. Why do that to yourself? You're gonna live one time. Why do people only apply the concept of YOLO when they're getting dirt drunk? Why don't you apply YOLO when we're talking about ambition? Why don't you apply YOLO when we're talking about your relationships? Get you the best possible woman to help you execute on your dreams. Why don't you apply YOLO to your quality? Apply YOLO to your wealth, which is to say, I am going to try and acquire the most money possible, not because I need it, because I don't, not because I even have anything to do with it, because it's the scorekeeping. I want to know what my score is, and I want my score to be higher than everybody. I'm trying to compete and win. Going in a parking lot right now. If I dip out, deuces. give you guys to send in your comments, questions. Is it life? Adonis message. He says, where can he purchase Boston University? We do have it linked in the community tab. I actually haven't really promoted it like that.